In the book, you make a very strong statement that, and I'll paraphrase, at the juncture where these fault lines emerge is always, or very often, the interaction between capitalism and democracy. And where government and where politics come in and try to reconcile these two different, how we say, modes of society. This is where the problems occur, and this is where the greatest challenges lie.
Right. One of the difficulties I have sometimes is that I sound like I'm anti-government, which I'm not. I think there's an enormously important role for the government. The problem, of course, is often government is there to soften the rough edges of capitalism, right? And that's an important role. That's an important role. Democracy softening the rough edges of capitalism, giving a voice to those who don't have economic power, I think is an important factor. But it also creates a tension because economic power comes from different things than political power. And when they go head to head, it creates a tension. And what I think this crisis demonstrates is there are aspects of the private sector which are always looking for the kind of tension that is created to exploit it. So, I mean,
the contradictions in incentives.
Exactly. Because after all, that's their job. I mean, what is self-interest? That is what makes capitalism work. And the government has to be very careful coming in because it doesn't want to be a running target or a patsy for the private sector. That's why it has to be careful. So take the housing sector. I mean, I think the intent was really noble or well-meaning. How do we give people who are falling behind in this lifetime, not the next, a hope for the future? And you know, one way is the American dream. Housing is part of the American dream. Let's facilitate access to housing. Not a bad idea in any way.
And there's the old saying, nobody ever takes a rented car to the car wash. When you own a home, maybe you'll keep it up better.
You'll keep it up, you care about the neighborhood, you care. You have a stake in the future, which you didn't have when your horizon was collapsing because the world was collapsing around you. So I think that was good. But of course, the private sector sees this and sees, aha, the government is interested in funding this. How do we take it further? And of course, it exploits the various guarantees, takes it over the cliff. Now, people think that therefore I'm blaming the poor. No, I'm not blaming the poor. I'm saying we have to find a way to do it in the right way so that they have access. What we have in a sense is we've expanded the access to finance. Before we've expanded the access to capabilities. What would be ideal is expand the access to capabilities. That takes too long.
And then finance can allow what you might call greater intertemporal horizons, move out the envelope with the ability to service that debt.
Absolutely. Now, when you move out finance before you moved out capabilities, you have created a debt trap. And of course, the private sector, knowing that the government is sort of in here, is guaranteeing some, this, that, exploits it.
And it won't be indifferent to the collapse of the debt trap.
Absolutely.
Because of financial insustainability, and they can play off of that.
Exactly,
exactly.
So in a sense, people become the collateral. The
people as
collateral
citizens
damage
become the collateral, and the contingent possibility of damaging them creates the distortion.
Exactly. And this is why I say that interface is very important. We need to get that right. It's not about the good intentions of government. It's how those good intentions get manipulated. And so I'm not against government, but I just think we have to be very careful how we come in.